Hey gang, what's good? It's been a minute. Hope you're doing well. It's Wes. So, a few things. Let's get some housekeeping out of the way first. I am still currently super swamped with NDA work, non-disclosure agreement, so stuff I can't talk about the projects yet, but they're going to be cool. But what I can say is who I'm working for, and might be a spoiler alert right here. It's right. We got Star Wars, man. Working on Star Wars. I can talk more about it next year, early next year, hopefully. But whenever the big reveals and stuff happen, then I can talk about it. I'll showcase some of it on the channel. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I've learned a ton. It's awesome. I'm really tired. Uh, yeah, having an 18-month-old baby and working on a huge IP. It's a lot of work. But that's where I've been. So hopefully you've been liking the time lapse videos that we've been doing. I wanted to do one of these videos again, where we do a narration, we talk about a topic, because in 2023 we're going to be doing a slight shift in the channel, and I wanted to tell you guys about it. So it's still going to be an art channel. We're still going to do paintings and time lapse and all that stuff. It's just the look is going to be a little bit different. Hopefully the production quality is going to be a little better. I'm going to be using my cell phone. I have a Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus. Has like 3 cameras and stuff, and there's some cool video modes. But really what I'm going to do is I'm going to be spending more time on each video. The production value of these is fine for what it is, but I have some ideas, and I think they need a little bit more production, B-roll type stuff. So we're going to be experimenting with that, but just know there are plans in the works for the YouTube channel to make more of a prominent kind of a feature in my workflow. And what's going to be fun is that kind of ties into what our topic is this time. And it's about adapting and not being so hard on yourself and just enjoying the process for what it is. So yeah, we made an image, a painting of basically fan art, I guess, of Rasputin, the Mad Monk. Took about an hour and 40 minutes. We hop between Rebel and Photoshop, but we'll talk about that whenever we do that. I just want to tell you that yes, I am here. Yes, we're still doing the thing, and we're working on Star Wars, which I still can't believe it. But we'll talk about that soon. New year, new look. It's coming soon. But we're going to have a few more videos before the end of the year. But without further ado, let's talk about this topic. And, be easy on yourself. So let's get to it. Alright, so this topic is something, kind of important. So what brought this about is, I want to do some personal paintings. I want to do something for the YouTube, but I'm also pretty creatively spent because of the big clients and stuff like that. And I had to talk myself up to do a personal painting. And one of the ways that I did that is I kind of reminded myself that not everything needs to be a masterpiece. Not everything needs to be your next huge earth-shattering, paradigm-shifting piece of art. That's not sustainable. It's not healthy to constantly want that. I mean, we're all people. We want to get better at our craft. But it's just not really sustainable. I also bring this up because, not to get too deep in the weeds, because everything can change and time heals all wounds and all that stuff, but apparently Twitter is going through some chaos right now, so a lot of people are jumping ship, not, knowing what to do, not knowing where to go. In fact, I opened up a Tumblr, which, throw back to that, but Tumblr is pretty awesome. I've never really used it, and now I have used it, and I like it. It's really neat, so I'm going to be posting that up more on Tumblr. But there's just so much going on. There's post this on social and make sure your reels for Instagram and your TikTok and your, YouTube. And there's so much of a grind just to get your work out there. And even as a pro, I would say especially as a pro, you want to make sure that the stuff you make is up to a certain level, because you don't want people to think, oh, that guy's a professional and look how bad he paints or whatever. There's a lot of that mental stigma there. So you gotta find a way to shake that. Just don't worry about it. Just treat yourself to the process. Enjoy the process of painting. And for this one took, looking at the recordings and stuff, about 1 hour and 40 minutes. So, not an insignificant amount of time, but also not, a lot of time. There are some paintings that I've worked on lately that have taken 60 or 70 hours. So, an hour and 40 minutes is just a drop in the bucket. It's a nice speed paint, as it were. But I wanted to do something that wasn't, either photorealistic or impressionistic or something like that. I just wanted to do something easy and fun. So I thought, hey, let me do something that also works on something that I've been meaning to get to, which is more dynamic shapes. And like, you'll see the staff is diagonal, and like the hair has some swoops and curves. And my biggest fear is that my personal work is kind of boring. Like, it could be rendered well, or it could have a cool, like, painterly look. But if the thing itself is not interesting to look at, I'm working against myself. So, I wanted to do more of something like this, to where, yeah, it's cropped in. I'm not really worried about the rendering. I'm not super worried about composition. Just, let me make a face and some shapes around it and kind of frame it, and have something that at least looks interesting to look at. Hopefully the, thumbnail made you click on it type of thing. But, these manageable chunks of ideas of, hey, let me do something with some weird diagonal shapes, or let me do something with some swoops and swirls. Do that. Like, not everything has to be portfolio ready, It's fine to sketch for sketching's sake. So for this one, I just want to talk about a little bit of the process. I started off in Rebel 5 Pro. They had a sale on it recently, but I've had it for a while, and I love it. I always try to find a way to use it in my workflow, whether it's like the finishing touches of adding more impasto texture, like real paint texture, or in this case, I really love if I turn down the impasto and turn down the texturing and all that stuff. It just has a really great feeling wet brush engine. So like brushes that kind of smear and smudge as you're painting. So you don't have to do the whole like Photoshop thing of, well, now I need to go into this blending mode, and now I have to do this, and now I have to do the mixer brush, and then I have to do, the opacity and lower the flow, and you're dialing in with all these, numbers and graphs, and it's fine for what it is, but sometimes I just like to paint. And programs like Rebel help me just get in there and start painting and pushing values around and making interesting shapes. And then after that, what I do is I actually do export it into Photoshop. I use I think it's called Escape Motions Connect, which is kind of a plugin that works between Photoshop and Rebel. I've never used it before, but I was interested to see how it works. And basically, you just click on the layer that you want. You have the plugin installed on your Photoshop. You click on the layer in Rebel, and then you click Export to Photoshop, and it literally exports it to Photoshop, and you have kind of a live, well, not live, it's not that you can paint in one thing and it shows up in the other, but like in real time. But once you get a layer to where you want it, you can just click on it, click export to Photoshop, and it creates it as a new layer in that composition in Photoshop, which is pretty handy. You're not worried about trying to save it as a Photoshop file and then re-importing it, and hopefully it opens up okay. This is just a really quick way to get my layers from one thing to another. Yeah, and it worked well. I was happy with the process. I also, for social media stuff, I checked out the time-lapse recording feature of Rebel, and I really like it. I like how smooth the video is and stuff like that. The only thing is, all the social medias want a video that is less than 1 minute long, and the time-lapse for the Rebel portion of this ended up being 1 minute and 4 seconds. Ugh. So, of course, first world problems, but so I could take it into DaVinci and shrink it down by 4 seconds, no problem. But that's yet another step. The whole idea of this was to not have a bunch of steps. It was just to get in, make a painting, record it, and then be done. So that's what we're doing. And so you guys here on YouTube get the full thing between Rebel and Photoshop. And yeah, just did values, and then did kind of a color glazing over top with the overlay layer, and then just used that as kind of the underpainting and went in with Photoshop and refined it with some sharper brushes, and still tried to keep some of the painterly stroke type stuff. But I've been looking at a lot of Bayard Wu work. He works for Blizzard. Dude's a genius. And Evan Amundsen is another one. Just really great. A lot of personality in their artwork, and I want to try to start embracing that a little more. I feel like I'm also kind of I'm definitely adhering to, I have the tendency to adhere to references too closely. So doing this, working kind of from imagination, and then having, a portrait picture or something off to the side, and then just taking what I need from it, like the wrinkles in the nose, or, how does the eye sit in the eye socket? Like, use it for that type of stuff instead of trying to do a one-to-one. Because I can't do that from imagination, you know what I mean? I cannot make something photorealistic from imagination. Can't do it. Can't do a John Singer Sargent-y impressionistic thing from imagination. I wish I could, but I can't. But something like this, it's a little bit more. It also kind of reminds me of Trent Kanuga. I love Trent's work. He's worked for Blizzard as well, and Riot Games and stuff. So it's more illustrative. It's more, I hate to say the word cartoony. That's not what I mean, but more abstract. And it's a cool way to get interesting shapes down and, really embrace it. Embrace the fun side of the illustration. So maybe, trying more of this and getting away from realism a little might be beneficial, especially for more dynamic poses and stuff. See, the real secret's going to be trying to find this type of work, but also doing like grim dark, Warhammer-esque, Baroque-looking stuff, but with a slightly more illustrative style. I think there's something to that. I think that'd be a lot of fun to kind of experiment with. I just don't know if it's a good match. So I guess the only way to do it is to try it, right? And that further emphasizes the point. Sometimes you don't have to, I'm going to do a master study of Anders Zorn. Like, ugh. I mean, I love doing those. And they're like potato chips. They're addictive. I love doing them because you can get really great results if you really study your brushwork and stuff. But it's not imaginatively fulfilling. It doesn't stretch that muscle in your brain to where you're thinking of something in your mind's eye and trying to put that down onto the canvas. And that's a muscle I definitely need to flex more. I need to get more comfortable with using it. I think it's going to help my career in the long run. But since I'm not great at it yet, it's easier to make these kind of cropped, very quick moment in time type deals. And like, there's no background on this. You know what I mean? I just put some values down. I put some highlights on it. Did some brush strokey stuff. Did some splatter brush type things. And that was it. Like, who cares, right? At the end of the day, like, does it look cool? Sure, it looks fine enough. And that's, what's better than good? Good enough. And that's sort of what this one was, is, hey, I want to make something for YouTube and not be stressed, not have deadlines looming, not have all that kind of ulterior motive type stuff with it. Just make a thing. And that's fine. It's fine to just make things. Just make it. Just paint the picture. Who cares? Who cares? Like, post it on social if you want, or don't. Make it just for you. Do paintings of spheres made out of different textures. It doesn't have to be the Mona Lisa. You know, it can be a study. It can be, I need to practice drawing straight lines. I need to practice, you know, doing curves or 3D floating blocks or shapes or whatever. Like, just do stuff. Just take 5 to 10 minutes out of your day. Even grab a napkin and an ink pen and do something. Just doodle mindlessly. Don't even worry about what it is. Just put a hand or put a brush or a pencil or whatever to a canvas of some sort and make a thing. And just enjoy that. Just enjoy the act of creating. And it doesn't matter if it's not a finished piece. It doesn't matter if it's a speed paint or highly rendered or whatever. You have to be easier on yourself. Go easy on yourself. You know, we got the one life. Just enjoy the process. You know, and I keep hammering this home because I need to get it through my thick skull that it's fine if it's not, you know, oh, well, this old painting got 10 likes on Twitter. Now I need to make a thing that gets 12 likes on Twitter. You know, that's a grind that turns into making art for other people. Yeah, that's a weird slippery slope to go down. So I do not recommend that. Yeah, that's really the topic. Be easy on yourself. Make stuff for you. Have fun, you know. I am excited about 2023. There's going to be a shift in the way the YouTube works, as far as the channel and stuff like that. I would like it to be more regular, but also there may be, ironically, there may be less videos, but each video will be of a higher quality. I have some new editing tricks I'm going to try. I have some... Basically, I'm going to treat the video editing as its own little hobby. And I'm interested to see where that goes. Because right now, I literally just record the screen and then I do a voiceover, and that's about it. But I think there could be something a little more that we could do with this. So if there's any topics you would like to see for next year, let me know. I already have a few. And yeah, I'll give you a spoiler on what one of them is. It might be the first video of the year. I don't know. The first one, or one of the first main ideas, is that I'm really getting into miniature painting. And, you know, painting minis for tabletop games and Warhammer and Killzone or Kill Team. Yeah, Star Wars Legion, that type of stuff. So, miniature war games. We also got some Battletech that I have. But I found it interesting. There's a lot that carries over, of course, because you're dealing with paint, you're dealing with visual interest and visual communication. But mini painting has really helped my mental clarity and process of traditional painting or digital painting. And I think that's a really neat video. So I want to show some mini painting. I want to talk about that process. Maybe it's a two-parter. Maybe the first part is, hey, we're going to paint a miniature. And I'm going to talk about it in terms of digital painting. But then the next time I do a digital painting, and then I talk about it in terms of miniature painting. So like glazing and, you know, varnishing and, you know, contrast paints and stuff. And what does that mean? How can you take that mentality and bring it over to digital art? Or vice versa. How can you take your skill in traditional art or digital art and use it for your miniature painting? So things like that, just different kind of esoteric ideas. So let me know what you think about those. But yeah, that was it. This one was a fun one. It was relaxing. I just had music playing. I had some battle reports in the background of Warhammer 40k I was listening to and watching. So it was no stress. And yeah, it's not my best piece I've ever done. It was only an hour and 40 minutes. But hey, it's something for the channel. It's something that I made, and it's cool. It's cool enough. Like, if I really wanted to go in and spend another 12 hours on this, really refining and getting skin textures and all that stuff, I could. But I don't have to. And that's the power of it, is you get the idea down. I hear the term spit paint a lot. Like, you just spit something out. Spit it out. Just go in, get the idea down on a canvas, and then you're done. There's no other expectation. So be easy on yourself. Do some stuff for you. Really kind of stretch out, relax, get your favorite drink, get your favorite food, and just have fun. Just put some stuff down, and you might be surprised at how much you enjoy the process. But hey, until next time, we're probably going to do some more time-lapse stuff before the end of the year. But yeah, hope you're doing well. The weather's getting colder, which I love. Fall and winter are my favorite seasons by far. You know, I'm a pasty Irishman, so summer is not my favorite. Give me the cold weather any day of the week. But that's my time. Hope you're all doing well, and we will talk to you soon. Peace.